Good Tuesday morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. From the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Certain corn herbicide. Unleash residual power early to allow for pre- or post-application to attack weeds at their weakest. I'm Joe Everett. Some quick calendar reminders. Powered by Soy Biodiesel, today we will be broadcasting from the annual partnership meeting of Ohio Federation of Soil and Water Districts. Then our next monthly check-in with Farm Credit Mid-America will be on Thursday, February 12th. And attend the Ohio Safety Congress and Expo, hosted by the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, March 11th through the 13th. Find the full schedule of events online at ohiosafetycongress.com. Then Ritchie Brothers is having a large auction on February 10th. Visit rbauction.com for complete details. News now making national headlines. The U.S. will temporarily expand the amount of beef it can import from Argentina thanks to an executive order signed by President Trump last week. The move is intended to help lower the price of beef, but the National Cattlemen's Beef Association says this isn't accurate. The proclamation increases the in-quota tariff rate quota for lean beef trimmings by 80,000 metric tons for the calendar year 2026. The additional imports will be entirely allocated to imports from Argentina and released into the United States market in segments 4 times through the year, beginning this week on February 13th. Well, deer season has come to a close. Let's check in for an update from Brianna Smith.
Ohio's 2025-2026 deer season officially wrapped up on February 1st, and the numbers are in. Hunters checked 232,142 white-tailed deer during the season, which included archery, gun, muzzleloader, youth hunts, and controlled firearm hunts dating back to September 13th. This total makes the season the 7th highest harvest on record and marks the 4th straight year Ohio hunters have checked over 200,000 deer. Breaking it down by season, archery led the way with 104,731 deer, followed by the week-long gun season with 85,448. As far as top counties, Coshocton County once again led the state with 8,500 deer checked, marking 24 years in a row at number 1. Rounding out the top 10 counties were Tuscarawas, Ashtabula, Knox, Muskingum, Carroll, Licking, Holmes, Trimble, and Columbiana. For a full county-by-county breakdown and more season stats, you can read the full story now on ohioagnet.com. Reporting for Ohio's Country Journal and Ohio AgNet, I'm Brianna Smith.
Hey, thanks, Brianna, for the update. Now for today's weather, which is brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Mild air dominating the countryside in Ohio today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that Ohio Ag Weather Update. Do not get used to the warm air just yet. You will be disappointed. But overall, when we look at the pattern, we are starting to see some of this brutal cold air ease just a little bit. Today, probably the warmest day of the entire week across Ohio, and that's anywhere. North, south, it doesn't matter. Today is going to be the day. We've got decent sunshine, but cold air is pooling to the north, wanting to fight back against this south flow, and so temperatures ease back tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Still seeing decent sunshine in there, but temperatures just aren't quite as warm. Southwest flow returns for Saturday and the weekend in general. Temperatures bump up Saturday afternoon with increasing clouds, and we've got rain that shows up in the warm air overnight Saturday night through Sunday. We can see anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of precipitation out of that, and then stay mild to start next week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Well, the future of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, huge for farm trade, will be decided this year. One U.S. Senator is calling on President Trump to renew his strong support for the deal.
Since 2019, U.S. agriculture exports have increased by almost $35 billion, and nearly half of that $35 billion was from just 2 countries, Canada and Mexico.
Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley says President Trump once hailed the USMCA as a giant win for U.S. farmers.
A colossal victory for Iowa farmers, ranchers, energy workers, factory workers, and American workers in all 50 states.
And given the stakes amidst a required 6-year review of the agreement, Grassley is calling for Trump to renew his support despite recent tariff tensions with both countries.
President Trump needs to speak forcefully about the success of the USMCA. His positive words will take the uncertainty out of whether this agreement will be extended, and if it's not extended, the great economic loss to the United States.
Grassley points out that U.S. agriculture exports to Mexico shot up by $11 billion between 2019 and 2024 to over a total of $30 billion. Mexico is the number one market for U.S. corn, and around 1/3 of all U.S. agriculture exports go to either Canada or Mexico. Now let's check in with Dusty Sonnenberg for an update on an agronomy program.
The Conservation Action Project in Northwest Ohio has a program you might want to register for. It's called Next Level Agronomy, the tools and resources to make soil health profitable. It's on February the 18th from 9 in the morning till 2:30 at Northwest State Community College just outside of Archbold. They have a full program lined up with Bray Hadley discussing the Haney soil test, Russ Rice and Gary Pennell talking about the next level soil health management measures they've taken, Josh Toll talking about the biological testing and soil DNA, and Alan Sundemeyer sharing their next level organic matter management. Lunch will be provided, and after lunch, the Nature Conservancy will be giving a presentation on the edge of field phosphorus solutions, as well as having a local farmer panel talking about how they use soil testing and barriers to soil health adoption. For more information and to register, you can go to their website. That is capofohio.org/events. Again, capofohio.org/events. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Dusty Sonnenberg.
Hey, thanks, Dusty, for the update. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more next here on the Ohio AgNet.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals, your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
You're tuning in on the Ohio AgNet. Let's check in with Ty Higgins for this week's featured audio for an Ohio pork policy update.
A lot of wins for the pork industry in 2025. Cheryl Day joins me. She is the Executive Director of the Ohio Pork Council. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
2025 was challenging for a lot of agriculture, but as far as the pork industry, can you kind of give us a recap of some of the things that you worked on and accomplished in the past year?
Yeah, we were pretty proactive in our strategy. We had some really big priorities in the budget that we actually were successful in getting passed through there. We had to do a legislative clarification for a feral swine bill, and now it's enacted, and that's a big win. We had a big ask for the College of OSU Vet Med, but it's really about Ohio. It's about Protect Ohio. And we were able to capture $10 million to build that pipeline for large animal veterinarians and to build a center for foreign animals disease response. And that's very important for our future. The other wins that we had is we did do a backstop for our checkoff program in case something would happen on the national level. It's just there in case. And that is there, and it's very available for our producers. It still be producer-led, and that's important because the checkoff dollars are their dollars.
You mentioned federal level. What are some of the things you're looking at as we get into 2026 as far as things you have your eye on that could harm or help the pork industry?
Great question. So we're very aligned with our partners, the National Pork Producer Council, and they are working obviously for a solution for Prop 12. We're not giving up that fight. We need that Farm Bill 2.0. We need to do some reform on that labor front. And those are really two big issues. And then, of course, trade. We want to make sure that our barriers are reduced. And we'd like to open up the borders so we can sell even more pork because pork is a global favorite.
And demand is outstanding right now for pork, not just here in the U.S., but across the world. As you talk with producers here at Pork Congress over the next couple of days, I have to imagine that spirits are high.
Spirits are high because they're making money again. We went through two very record low profits for them. Unfortunately, the grain guys are now kind of experiencing that, and most of them, as pork producers, raise grain crops too, but they are actually seeing the black ink again. So that's good. But on their mind all the time is, how can I sell pork? They really feel like right now with beef prices high, are we really capturing our part? Because ground pork can be subbed for ground beef. And so they're making sure that how they're really pushing us, whether it's at the state or national level, to really promote their product.
How does the conversation with consumers change with the new food pyramid? Obviously, protein now at the top, and you guys have been proponents of getting that message to the consumer for a long time, but does that change your strategy at all moving forward?
Actually, it's kind of funny, we aligned. When the Ag Secretary Rollins, when she announced that program, she said, real farmers, real food. We have always built our campaign around real pork, real farmers. So now we're adding real food because we're aligning right there with USDA. She's seeing what we're seeing. We have asked engaged citizens about the pork industry. How do we meet you where you're at? How do we show you? We want to demonstrate what we're doing in the barn so that you know not only is it a great product to eat, it's a safe product and the care that goes behind it. And so we came up with the Real Pork, Real Farmers because they really latched on to that messaging. And so when Rollins said the same thing, we're like, that's a win for us.
Cheryl Day leads up the Ohio Pork Council, our guest here from Pork Congress in Lima. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Ty, for the update. Stay tuned. We'll be back with your grain analysis and your overnight markets next here on the Ohio AgNet.
Whether you're in the fields or on the farm, creating a safer work environment has never been easier. BWC's safety consulting services are included with your policy premiums and offer training and education for everyone in your farming operation. It's always the right time to make safety a priority. Visit bwc.ohio.gov or call 1-800-644-6292. The Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, here to help you work safely.
Nearly 90% of farmers say that financial worries, constantly changing market conditions, and other uncontrollable variables take a toll on their mental well-being. Add in the weather and family dynamics, well, it's a lot to handle alone. But did you know farmers and their families can receive free confidential services from licensed professionals? Support is available 24/7 to help with the challenges you face. Look for Farm Family Wellness Alliance under the Resources tab at farmfoundation.org. Take care of yourself. Your well-being matters.
It's now time for today's market analysis, which is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to bring the brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets yesterday weaker, but finished off of the lows, particularly in the soybean market. As a matter of fact, you get out into the new crop, and we were a little bit firmer out there. Now, this is where the talking points about crop insurance period or price setting period have been coming up a little bit as the new crop gained a little higher. Year on year, we are higher on a soybean price at this point. We're a few days in. Corn price is down a little bit over last year. Otherwise, the stories from yesterday were few and far between. USDA did report that China had a flash purchase of about 264,000 metric tons of beans for the 25-26 crop year. It's probably not anything super exciting, but this goes back to some of those rumors that we heard late last week about additional cargoes of beans headed to China, and the argument whether it's new purchases or whether they're still trying to get to that 12 million metric ton level that they supposedly already filled. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight trade brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. March corn $4.29, up a quarter. May corn $4.37 1/4, up a quarter. As we turn to soybeans, March $11.13, up 2 1/4. May soybeans $11.27 1/2, up 2 1/2. And July wheat $5.48, down a penny. As we turn to livestock from yesterday's close, February live cattle $239.30, up $1.55. April live cattle $238.20, up 95 cents. February lean hogs $87.10, down 27 cents. April lean hogs $96.72, down $1.22. April feeder cattle $363.20, up 40 cents. May feeder cattle $357.77, up 65 cents. And March class 3 milk $16.58, down a nickel. Have a great morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. You're listening to the Ohio AgNet.